I do believe that supplementation, if it can work for you, that's kind of where I've settled in, is just let me supplement. I spent some time this year in Norway, in Tromsø, which is one of the most northern cities in the world
Uh-huh.
that people live. It's dark 3 months a year, and they just all know you take vitamin D, like it's just part of the process. So
Yeah.
I sort of listen to that and I go, yeah, I think that's just going to be how I'll get my vitamin D. But I also know I go out in the sun. I have serotonin receptor sites in my eyes. So I want to make sure that I'm not out there with sunglasses on so that I'm stimulating that. Like, we're learning so much more about the healing effect of light. And then to square that with aging skin has been a real dilemma. And I think a lot of women are experiencing that.
100%. But I do have some tips. I do have some things
Please,
that you can do. Okay,
please.
so we'll go from like very easy to maybe a little bit less comfortable. So
Perfect.
very, very easy would be taking astaxanthin, which is carotenoid from mainly from salmon. It's made. So this is something you can take in pills. A lot of people apply it on the skin as well. It's actually not as good because we want it kind of from within our body. So that is, carotenoids know how to get to your skin surface really, really well. So we want to do that, and we can actually test. There is a machine that tests your carotenoid levels, and we know that this is an amazing product to use in order to kind of get yourself more resilient to the sun. And
Love that.
supplementing on a regular basis with astaxanthin is equal to upping your natural protection from the sun by about SPF 5, not 55,
Wow.
but that's pretty good. Yes. Another way to, which is pretty easy, is to use a vitamin C that's called magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, MAP.
Okay.
And the reason I'm giving you that specific type of magnesium is not necessarily because it's, that type of vitamin C is not necessarily because it's the only one. It's just the one that shows better efficacy. Part of the reason it's water soluble and it's non-synthetic. So ascorbic acid is, which most people know as vitamin C, is actually horrible to use for your skin. We can
Oh.
definitely get into that later, but it is geno and cytotoxic. So it's probably the worst ingredient you can have in your skincare regimen.
Vitamin C.
The synthetic version, ascorbic acid, is really, 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 really bad as a
What
skincare
about,
product.
okay, what about if I do a vitamin C drip?
Well, that's a completely different. First of all, it's important to understand where that vitamin C is synthesized from, and is this so the problem with vitamin C as a whole, first of all, is its pH levels when we talk about vitamin IVs. And
Yeah.
the second thing is, again, how vitamin C is both an antioxidant and a pro-oxidant. And when we are using a high dose of vitamin C, ascorbic acid, it actually can make iron atoms in your mitochondria and kind of in your intercellular membrane. It can make them excited. It can actually destabilize them. And that can cause basically free radicals that are extremely damaging to the cell, but to your DNA specifically. So that is why a product like that, one thing would be if they're like super fresh and you get, some high level of ascorbic acid IV. But if you're talking about, and it's a quality one, that's one thing. But if you're talking about the skincare product, that an average age of a bottle that you're buying at fill in the blank at a store is 2 to 5 years old. That vitamin C was made 2 to 5 years ago.
Wow.
So you can imagine how unstable it has become. And by the way, in the world of skincare products, there's a lot of chemistry that's going on with balancing pH and things like that, which is like the acidity. So it needs to be equivalent to your skin's acidity, for that matter. If anyone remembers 20 years ago, there were like, soaps that were like pH natural and stuff. So that's kind of connecting to that. But to get to my point about like vitamin C synthesis, the reason we do want to use vitamin C, magnesium ascorbyl phosphate, it's called MAP vitamin C. Another version, it's called THD.
Okay.
Ascorbate. These two versions are really, really good in being kind of pH natural, things like that. If we want to talk about something we take orally, it could be sodium ascorbate or calcium ascorbate. And these things are really, really good in, again, upping the ability to resist the damage from the sun by, let's say, SPF 3. Okay.
Right.
And by the
Right.
way, just as an anecdote, high level sunblocks that you'll buy will have an antioxidant within them. And that has been shown to
Mm.
double their efficacy. So just to
Oh,
connect to the same idea.
okay.
The third one, which is, and again, we're talking about not that necessarily like resisting sun damage, we're talking about vitamin D synthesis. The third one is actually using lanolin on your skin.
Mm. Okay. So
And that
this
can,
again, just so we're clear, this is if you want to go out in the sun and you want the most to grab the most vitamin D,
mhm,
but you don't want skin damage. So
mhm.
you're increasing your chances of, okay, go ahead.
So lanolin can double the amount of vitamin D that you're
Okay.
synthesizing.
Wow.
And again, just supplementing on K2,
Ah,
vitamin
yes.
K2, K1 and
Yes.
K2 can increase your ability to create that vitamin D3 that you want so much.
Yeah.
So again, like, we talked about, there is another molecule specifically in skincare you'll see. It's called ectoin. It's a type of protein. It's really cool because it's from, have you ever heard about water bears or space bears, they're called sometimes?
No.
They're extremophiles. They're very, very, very small organisms. They look really cool, and they have the ability. They have this protein, and this protein structures water around their proteins, and it kind of creates like a buffer that proteins can't get damaged as well. And that is something that we're starting to see in skincare more and more. We actually used it like first time like 4 years ago, and we were like the only company who used it, and it was very difficult because the cost of using it was really, really high. Now there are entire skincare brands that are based on ectoin, mainly in
Right.
Korea and stuff
Wow.
like that. But this is a really good product to use in order to protect yourself not only against UV damage but also against EMF, against heavy metals, pollution, artificial light,
Yeah.
blue light. Ashwagandha is really good to protect the skin against artificial light and blue light.